evening, Bahamas, coming up tonight on our news.
Beaten and robbed, the security officer of a local high school finds himself recovering in hospital after an early morning robbery.
Minister of Works Desmond Bannister addresses concerns at Bahamas Power and Light.
GLENYS HANNA-MARTIN will run for leader of the PLP.
An elite international boarding school opens its doors here in the Bahamas. We've got a first-hand look.
Our news is brought to you by Alive, the nation's newest and best LTE network.
Good to be alive.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm VAUGHNIQUE. Topping news tonight, 2 security officers tied up and beaten early this morning as robbers had their way at a local business establishment and a high school. It was just the start of a spree of armed robberies that also included an incident on the Anglican Bishop's driveway. WALKINE has the details.
Well, according to the school's principal, it all went down in this booth just behind me sometime between 3 and 5 this morning. The security officer just doing his job when he was beaten and robbed by criminals.
It appears that crime is no respecter of person. It attacks all levels of society, all institutions.
What started out as a normal ghost shift for a security guard at Temple Christian High School ended in him being beaten about the head and robbed as gunmen left with his belongings.
He was beat about his head and his face, sustained minor injuries, was rushed to the Princess Margaret Hospital. He's in satisfactory condition. Some personal belongings, like some money, his glasses, his shoes, maybe a few other items were taken from him.
Reverend Perry Cunningham, principal of the high school, telling our news just last year another security officer was robbed in the same fashion. Unlike this time where the school was left untouched, in that incident, vandals ransacked the school and removed the security camera system. But this incident, according to police, appears to be connected to an armed robbery that occurred just minutes prior and right next door. Around 5:15 a.m., the security of Thompson Trading along Shirley Street was also tied up and robbed of his cell phone as well as his car. When our news team arrived at Thompson Trading, the stolen safe was being returned on a flatbed truck. According to police, after the robbery, a chase ensued and ended along Homestead Street where the suspects got away on foot. However, it was still business as usual today. The company's president and CEO, who wished not to be on camera, wouldn't say much, only that the thieves got away with petty cash. But it gets worse. Criminals also robbed the family of Anglican Bishop Boyd as they left to start their day. A statement released by the Anglican Diocese said this morning at about 7:30, Bishop Boyd's personal assistant, his 3 sons, and their cousin were robbed at gunpoint by 3 masked gunmen. The incident took place in the driveway of the bishop's residence in St. Susie. The bandits took the bishop's car along with personal effects from the 5 individuals. Bishop Boyd at the time was out of the country. Chief Superintendent Solomon Cash, who heads the Central Detective Unit, told our news team that police have recovered 2 of the stolen vehicles, one from the security officer at Temple Christian High and the other from Thompson Trading. He added that police have been following significant leads and have a good idea who they're looking for. Thankfully, no lives were lost in any of the incidents, but with less than a week left to the start of the school year, crime for this high school principal is a major concern.
We're presently looking at ways that we can fortify the security of the school, because it's not just a matter of nighttime or early morning time. We have to bear in mind, and considering the situation that we have in the Bahamas, that persons attack institutions even in the daylight. And so we want to ensure that we are completely safe.
For our news, I'm WALKINE.
The shooting death of a baby in BAIN town early Monday morning prompted an emergency meeting between the Prime Minister, Attorney General, and police officials, according to Press Secretary Anthony NEWBOLD, who says senior government officials were shocked by the tragic incident.
Everybody's really shocked by what happened 2 nights ago, and we understand, though, that there is no one solution to crime.
NEWBOLD's comments came during his weekly press briefing at the office of the Prime Minister today. He shed some light on that meeting.
Prime Minister met yesterday with the police and the Attorney General to reinforce his government's zero-tolerance approach to crime and to stress that he is still prepared to provide all the support that the police needs to get the job done. In fact, the Cabinet Subcommittee has been formed to take a holistic view of the crime situation and how the church and schools and other social partners can play a larger role in getting crime under control.
When asked about suggestions that the Minnis administration does not have an adequate plan for crime, Newbold said no amount of planning can fix crime. He used the former government as an example.
Any plans won't stop crime. Certainly killings, there are plans. The Minister of National Security has spoken to plans. The police should also present a crime plan. As I also said, the Prime Minister has called for the formation of a ministerial subcommittee as well, because crime is vexing, and one plan or one element of a plan is not going to solve it. We've seen that with former administration, certainly with the former administration.
Bahamians will finally learn the details of that BPL management agreement signed last year. In February 2016, PowerSecure signed a 5-year management service agreement with government, but it was never made public. The former administration had also promised to publicly detail the $900,000 business plan PowerSecure drafted prior to that deal being signed. Works Minister Desmond Bannister said all will be revealed next month.
We are distinctly different from the who came before us. So on the 13th of September, be in the House.
As for whether the Minnis administration has any intention of changing the management company, Bannister says for now they are working with the team and agreement that are currently in place. Meantime, Bannister is calling for mature heads to prevail in an ongoing battle between unions and executives at Bahamas Power and Light. His comments come in response to the Bahamas Electrical Utility Managerial Union's threat to take drastic action after the suspension of 2 of its managers in connection with a fraud investigation. Jasmine Brown reports.
The Works Minister addressed the union's threats outside Cabinet this morning, insisting he hopes they act maturely about the issue.
We have communicated with the managers union and we have told them our position. I've seen some releases from them and I do hope that they will take the same mature stance as the workers union.
The BEUMU is calling for full disclosure on why 2 of its members were suspended over that fraud investigation. BPL has been cleaning house since an investigation was completed into the alleged theft of some $2 million, which was uncovered by an Ernst & Young audit earlier this year. Bannister says despite what some may think, it's not a witch hunt.
I can assure you that there's much more to be done at BC, and we are not on any type of witch hunt. We are there to protect every single Bahamian consumer, because after all, it is your money. It is all of our money, and we all have to be concerned about it. There are some things that come above and beyond and are more important to a country than these individual issues. This is one of them. This is a very, very important, very critical issue. And where you find that these things occurred, we have to wipe them out, and we have to get to the bottom of all of it. And I assure you, we will do that.
Meantime, Bannister says talks with executives at the Bahamas Electrical Workers Union have been fruitful. He says he has asked executives of the Workers Union for a few weeks to address their concerns.
I've had some very productive meetings with the union at BEC. They have some concerns about protecting their members, and they wanted full disclosure from us. I've asked them to be patient. There is some very confidential information with respect to the matters that occurred at BEC. It has caused the Bahamian people to lose almost $2 million. It's a very serious issue.
Reporting for our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Ending weeks of speculation, Anglerston MP GLENYS HANNA-MARTIN announced her intention to run for the party's top post in the upcoming October convention, setting up a leadership base with interim PLP leader Philip Brave Davis. GIORGIO BAIN reports.
The announcement came last night at HANNA-MARTIN's constituency office in Englerston, surrounded by family, friends, and supporters.
And I hereby declare, with bold humility, that I will be offering myself at the next convention of the Progressive Party. For the position of leader of our great party.
HANNA-MARTIN was first elected to the House of Assembly in 2002 and served as Minister of Transport and Aviation. After the party suffered defeat in 2007, she became the party's first female chairman. She was appointed Transport and Aviation Minister again in 2012 after the party's victory, and now serves as one of the 4 sitting PLP members. Former Social Services Minister Melanie Griffin said Martin would make for a great leader.
GLENYS HANNA-MARTIN is focused. She is bold, courageous, experienced, and tenacious. GLENYS is a consummate nationalist, an independent thinker with a proven record of standing her own ground. She is caring with a strong social heart.
Having the support of some of her former cabinet colleagues and political hopefuls, HANNA-MARTIN says she hopes by stepping forward, this will start a new era of women rising up in the PLP.
In doing so, I know that I stand on the shoulders of all the women who came before me, many of whom, like my mother, were involved in the political struggle throughout our history, including those like Hope spoke of, her grandmother, who boldly agitated and fought for the right for women to vote. It was perhaps perceived even then that the day would come when a woman would rise up in this great party and have the audacity to offer herself for high office.
Former Minister of Financial Services Hope Strawn said last night that the party needs leadership and that everyone present was on the right side of history.
You have my full support. Amen. Moving forward. And I am praying God's strength in you as you go forward in Parliament. And look here, I just have my TV on and I say, go Glenn. Look here, she can take on the whole of them. They talk about 35 to 4. 35 to 4.
If elected leader, HANNA-MARTIN said she will embark on an aggressive exercise of modernizing the party.
As leader of this party, whose ideals have inspired me all of my life, God willing, I intend to embark upon an aggressive modernization process of this party. This will include a full professionalization of the party's administration. It will include causing for greater efficiency and a higher degree of responsiveness of and to all of the organs of the party. It includes technological advancement and modernization of the party's machinery.
The party's convention is set for October 22nd to 25th at the MELANIE Nassau Beach Resort. Reporting for our News, I'm GIORGIO BAIN.
Minister of Education Jeff LLOYD revealing that all school repairs will not be completed before thousands of students head back to government schools across the country next week. However, LLOYD says many of those repairs are just minor and will not keep students out of the classroom.
In some instances, the repairs will not be complete.
Despite the incomplete repairs, LLOYD says classes will begin on September 4th, except in the case of Stephen Dillett Primary School. LLOYD says major work is still ongoing at that school, which is undergoing $4 million worth of renovation.
But it will not be complete such that students would be able to enter school. The teachers will return, administrators, because we still have equipment and supplies, new stuff, that will be installed along with some of the older furniture.
Still to come, Windsor at Albany welcomes students, plus the mother of a missing teen girl speaks out. To stay with us.